Be finished in half an hour. We'll see whether we can do that or not, or we'll find that we'll chat on a bit longer. If I can say, we seem to have some guests with us, so if I can just point out that the emergency exits that way, or just follow your counsellors because they'll be rushing out the door as well. And in fact, everybody will. We haven't got any alarms going off, so that will be an alarm. And that this is a cabinet meeting in public, but it is actually, strangely, it's a meeting amongst ourselves, and you're just here to watch it. But anyway, welcome aboard, and we are joined by a district councillor as well. So, right, if we just get on, apologies for absence. We've got a few, haven't we?
Sorry, Christian Mitchell, Councillor Christian Mitchell is the only apology I have.
Right, okay. Right, okay, thank you. And minutes of the, on page 3 to 12. Is everyone happy with those? I wasn't here, so I'll have to, as people keep mentioning. Right, and declaration of interest, members. No declaration. Announcements.
News in a way for you. I think you remember that Jeremy Quinn came and had a chat with us a few months back about the sad situation of the junior suicides that were happening in Horsham, and asked our community development team if there was any way that they could help and do something about it. But I've got this announcement now to say that the team have been working with local organisations for the Youth Sussex Partnership Foundation Trust and health colleagues at Horsham Youth Centre to bring forward the proposal to have a low-level, easy-to-access mental health hub for young people at Horsham Youth Centre on Hurst Road. The project, called iRock, will have mental health professionals available to liaise with young people in surroundings that they feel comfortable, and provide solutions for those with low-level needs that may otherwise have to wait an extended period for traditional mental health services. This is not to replace high-level support services. Following the tragic news of a number of young people taking their lives within our district last year, I'm pleased to update you that this project is still on track and anticipated to open by the end of this year. And I will provide updates as they come through, but I think you'll all agree, unfortunately, that's very good news. Sorry if I stuttered a bit, but I hadn't got time to read it before I was given it.
It was very well. Thank you very much, Councillor Kitchen. Yeah, I think we all welcome this announcement, and very grateful for the work that everybody at the MP and right across the whole professional youth project has done on this.
I think Nick Jenkins and Rob Jarvis have worked particularly hard on that, and I'd like them to be, just acknowledged for doing so.
Nick Jenkins' department and Rob's work very hard on these issues all the time.
Yes.
And it's sort of below the radar, most of it, but we know they're doing such great work. And a lot of these departments, a lot of authorities will let go, but we're grateful that we managed to keep that for Horsham District.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Anyone else want to? So we've got an announcement? Yes.
Thank you, Leader. I just wanted to briefly mention that Southwater Country Park is now going out for consultation. So I should say the future of Southwater Country Park is going out for consultation for 2 months, the beginning of August until the end of September, where we will be consulting local residents, young people in the area, and all the visitors will be given a chance to comment on the consultation that is being carried out, because we're determined to upgrade, if that's what is wanted by the results of the consultation, we will be upgrading the country park according to the wishes of those that presently use it. It's going to be a very worthwhile consultation, and anyone who is going to Southwater or anyone who lives near there, could you please get involved in it? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Right, we move on to item 5, public questions. I've got no notes to this, So have we got no public questions? Okay. So we now move on to item 6, which is Burton Court bin store, which I pulled back last time so we could have further discussion. And the report is from the Cabinet Member of Finance and Parking.
Thank you, Luda. Page 13 of the Cabinet agenda gives a synopsis and overview. I think Cabinet will be well aware of this. When Perry's Place car park was finished, there was a bit of unfinished business really with the location of these bins. This headline figure of £100,000 for a bin store in isolation looks quite a high figure. Perry's Place car park, I believe, cost around £7.2 million, and it actually come under budget. The contingency was actually swept, go back 2-3 years ago at the beginning of COVID, back into general funds, and perhaps this item has been overdue and should have been completed 2-3 years ago. So Perry's Place car park was delivered on time, under budget, and this is a slight spend that should have been spent 2 years ago. The £100,000 figure, so the headline today is Burton Court's bin store approval of capital budget. The drawings that you're seeing in front of you obviously still have to go to Planning North. We'll still have to go back to the Town Centre Cabinet Member just for a final approval. But what I'm asking for today is Cabinet's approval to finish Perry's Place car park, to provide the bin store to the public. There's been a lot of redesign that's gone on with this. I wish to get closure on it, and I'm asking for Cabinet's approval for a £100,000 budget today. I have to say, this is worst case scenario. There is still a possibility that Southern Housing, the new developers that bought that land, may contribute towards this. There is some element of contingency. The actual current quote is £88,000. So I do hope this is a worst case scenario, and I figure that we actually spend this significantly less. But if you add it to the £7.2 million we've already spent on Perry's Place, we're still coming under budget on time, and I would urge Cabinet members to support the recommendation on page 13. Thank you, Leader.
Okay. Anyone else was coming? Yes, Councillor Bradburn.
Yes, I would like to support the proposal, Chairman, thank you, because it really is high time this bin store was sorted out once and for all, and with the car park having come in slightly under budget, you know, that sort of makes up for that shortfall. And the fact of the matter is, at the moment, we can't do any recycling at that site because of the fact that it's a temporary structure with these sort of metal sheeting around it, really, which is most unsatisfactory and unsuitable. And so, you know, I hope it's full steam ahead now to get this bin store sorted out and in situ, because it will then they will then have the opportunity to recycle as well as have their residual waste collected. Thank you.
Any other Cabinet member want to say anything? I gather that the Housing Association is sympathetic to making some contribution, so we'll see whether that comes through. And I think the concern over land ownership is still there, because no one can quite identify who it belongs to at the moment. But there are methods of getting around it, and I gather that we would take out indemnity insurance to protect ourselves. So I can't see any reason why we can't go ahead with the project. And I know it's been out to a lot of consultation in the community for comment, and in fact they're probably saying, well, we better get on with it. So I think we should try and do that today. Councillor Fletcher, do you want to join the discussion on this?
Well, I would just say, yes, we absolutely do need to get on with this. Obviously, £100,000 would have been a ridiculous price for a bin store. It's the cost of putting right a job that didn't get done properly in the first place or completed as it should have been done. The residents absolutely are owed this, and the beautiful new restaurant quarter around that area absolutely is owed that. All the businesses who've been put through so much for so long without bins, the poor residents who've been put through so much for so long without the bins. We just need to get on and do this now. And the latest designs really are so much massively better than anything we had before. So, yeah, please do it.
Thank you. We will get on with the work then. So is everyone agree with on a recommendation on page 13 that we proceed with the capital budget for this? That's unanimous. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, back to the agenda, and it's item 7, Highwood Community Centre and the Cabinet Member for Finance and Parking, beginning on page 21.
Thank you, Luda. So page 21, we have a recommendation to award the contract and delegate authority to the electoral place to approve the financial terms, including agreement of a contracted sum. This is regarding the appointment of a contractor for Highwood Community Centre. There's a couple of sort of technical terms, or the words, the scale construction framework isn't perhaps crystal clear. The scale construction framework consists of 1,000 public bodies. I describe this as trusted trader for public authorities, is the way it's sort of played in my mind. These are pre-approved, pre-vetted companies that save the council some time. Obviously, as a council, it is necessary for us to secure best use of public funds in a safe and meaningful way, and the quality score of any contractor that we use is subject to scrutiny, and we have a procurement procedure that must be followed. Following a scale construction framework allows us to pick a pre-approved contractor that has delivered for public bodies. This is probably the safest way. It's not necessarily the cheapest way. This may be, marginally more expensive than some other ways, but it is certainly this as a proven ability to be an incredibly safe way of securing the framework going forward. Hence I am happy to put forward the recommendation as printed on page 21 of your agenda. Thank you.
Any other Cabinet members? Yeah, I would just say, that community needs its community centre. It's a new community, and thank goodness this is going to happen. So we're all in favour then. Agree. Back to item 8, extension to parking charges for Cabinet Member Finance and Parking, page 29.
Thank you, Leader. Some of these items are a mop-up. Obviously, we went to full council with the budget that had the majority of the car parking increases in that. So council has already approved the sort of 10, 12, 15% blanket charge, which it should be said was the first time in 4 years we've put charges up as a council. The headline figure of 12.5% there, obviously, we're currently running at 9.4% inflation. We would have liked to put car parking prices up, obviously, perhaps 1 or 2 years ago, and we held fire with the budget. These are very small changes. These are minor amendments to the budget that went through in February. The first recommendation of North Street Car Park is to do with EV charging. We need a slightly longer tariff in North Street Car Park to allow for electric car vehicle charging to come in. It perhaps was a marginal oversight. The same as South Alder Country Park, we did already agree that the tariffs rises for South Alder Country Park, but the wording wasn't 100% crystal clear. Some of the winter tariffs at weekends are the same as the price rises that we put through. So again, this is pretty much just regulating the parking charges we've already put through. Item 3, the recommendations to a 10% increase on season tickets. Again, we have already in many ways worded that and put that charge through, but there are some day charges. Season ticket sales is something that we have been really suffering in. We are looking at every means we can to bring season ticket sales back in, and obviously the ability to have flexible stays and the day passes and the multiple ticket books. Anything we can do to increase our season ticket holders is most welcome. So I hope that everyone will support me to put through the recommendations on page 29 of today's agenda. I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Any other councillors want to comment? No? So can I take recommendation? Oh, Ruth, did you want? No. Okay, so can we agree recommendations on page 29? Okay, carried unanimously. Item 9, called Cabinet Member for Planning and Development.
Thank you, Leader. I'm going to stand up. I'm taller when I stand up. The consultation on the proposed designation of a new conservation area. On the coldest day of the year, January the 5th, 5 hardy souls left Parkside. We were led by 2 very enthusiastic locals, John Connolly and Tom Crowley. Following up, we had Christian, Mitchell, myself, and Barbara, all wrapped with scarves. I bring to you today, following the 2 hottest days of the year, possibly ever. To put it into context, we have 37 adopted conservation areas in Horsham District. We also have a rolling programme of conservation area appraisals and management plans. As a local planning authority, we have a legal duty to review whether other parts of our district should be identified as a conservation area. If we identify that an area is of special architectural or historic interest. Evidence of the special interest of the area, which comprises Norfolk Road, Norfolk Terrace, Wellington Road, Chichester Terrace, Bartolot Road, Park Terrace, Park Street and East Street, has been identified by both the community in the emerging Blueprint Neighbourhood Plan and by local residents. Following research by Horsham District Council, and I'd like to thank Nicola here for all the work she put in, we are of the view that this area, which is being referred to as Park Terrace Gardens, is worthy of designation as a conservation area. Christian Mitchell enthusiastically supports me in this. In order to receive formal designation, we need to undertake a wider public consultation. As the summer holidays are upon us, I propose the consultation commences on the 1st of September and finishes on the 6th of October. This will ensure that anyone who wants to respond to the consultation is able to. Following the consultation, I will come back to Cabinet with a report summarising the responses. Subject to the consultation, the new conservation area designation and management plan will help inform future planning decision in regards to development within or adjoining this area. The recommendations are on page 33 of the Cabinet papers, and I would please like you to support it, as would all the locals who are really so enthusiastic about this area. They love where they live, they want to keep it as it was, they want to restore their properties to how they were, and they have people on hand to tell them where they can get their stained glass from. Thank you.
Well, there was a bit of enthusiasm there from the Cabinet member. Do any other colleagues have? James?
Thank you, Leader. I've also met the wonderful residents this evening, and I live in Washington Village, far away from Horsham Town, but we do have our own conservation area. We find it as an excellent tool of protecting the heritage of the village, an excellent way of ensuring that any new builds or any renovations match what is already there. And so I can see the success of it in my own location and can completely understand why we want to be supporting something like this. So yes, we'll be wholeheartedly supporting it.
Anyone else want to say? Yes, Roger, and then Trish.
Thank you, Leader. I fully support this. I think it's a wonderful area. It's Victorian, and it's something that has to be preserved as part of our heritage. Included in the area are 7 listed buildings, including the original police station for Horsham, which I think is great, and it's just got to stay there as it was, even though it's being used for something else now. Yeah. There's also some wonderful decorative barge boards and doorways, and it really does add character to this area. And I fully support the motion to create this area to be saved for future generations for as long as possible. So I fully support this. Thank you very much.
Councillor Uten.
Yes, just to say I thoroughly support it. I think it's essential that we preserve our heritage. And I'm delighted that this has been brought forward. And I think it's very fair that we leave the consultation until after the summer holidays. And I just hope that everybody gets on board with it. It's super. Thank you.
Anyone else? No. Right, Ruth?
Well, thank you very much. As the local member, I'm delighted that we have such strong support on this. When this idea was first brought forward by the residents, there was actually some quite significant reluctance to designate it as a conservation area. And I want to pay great tribute to the large amount of work that the residents undertook to survey the area, to understand the history, and to undertake really good public engagement and listen to everybody and get everybody on board, and to the officers for preparing such a comprehensive report. So that's excellent, and I'm really pleased it's been able to come forward this quickly, because this area is under huge development pressure. So it is vitally important that this is pushed through as fast as is reasonable for that. I do have one small caveat, which is most of the original work started on a smaller area, which has been being called Norfolk Square. The conservation officers proposed that it was extended to include some other areas, including Bartlett Road, which is very, very valid and justifiable. I'd like to say thank you for the offer to undertake sort of enhanced engagement with those residents, because those residents will be less aware than the others about what's going on, and it is important that we bring people along with us and that we listen to their genuine concerns, should there be any, because it's very important that whatever we do when we designate it, that we're not delayed unduly on this. I also note that there's a delegation for minor changes, and I'm sure that the residents, with their eagle eyes, will be getting in touch with any minor changes that they have noticed that need to be made to the report. But it's excellent that this is now going out to consultation, so thank you.
Thank you. I'm a bit surprised you said there was some reluctance, because I didn't know there was any reluctance. I thought everyone was pretty keen on doing this, but it's great it's going forward for consultation. I'm sure everyone will be picking through this to make sure it's all the T's and I's are dotted and crossed. And it certainly fits in with our ambition of, as a district council, not only protecting the environment and having a local plan that fits our community, but also preserve Horsham as a great place to live. And I think this is one of the steps of doing that. So thank you all very much. So can we say that we're all happy with this to go out for further consultation? Thank you. Right, so back on the agenda, have we anything from overview and scrutiny? The chairman's not here, so I assume not. No. And the forward plan, that's all available. Is anything on that? Anybody? No. And we could talk for another 6 minutes, so we finish in half an hour, but we'll finish early. So any matters of urgency? No. So we're all here to talk amongst ourselves. Thank you very much for joining us, and safe journey home, and thank you for coming. Right, and enjoy the rest of the summer. Thank you, everybody.